Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. This is episode 10 of Erlengrat Flour Mill, and we are just finishing up planting our oats here on field 15. So hang in there with me as I get this last row planted. In fact, I'll probably have to go down and come back, but as we discussed in the last episode, we wanted to get these oats planted here in March because we could plant them in March or April, but then they will be harvestable in July and in August, and our barley will be harvestable in July. So hopefully when we rent that harvester to harvest our field 16 with the barley, it will hopefully be the same month that we can harvest field 15 here with these oats. So everything's coming along. We've basically been able to get this done today. It looks like we're going to have rain tonight, and according to the calendar, we were going to have rain in April. So I'm glad we were able to get this done today in case it rains all next month in the game. That will allow us to have this completed. And all we need to do is spread fertilizer on here. We can do that probably in April, even in the rain if we needed to. And we can even do it in the first growth stage later, as long as we're not damaging the crops by driving on them. So that's exciting stuff. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you guys as I'm finishing out this field is we need a third field. We put 2 loads of grain into our mill last harvest, 1 of wheat and 1 of barley, and we have gotten all of that flour out at this point. It was processed in about 3 months, I think, and we have moved all of that over to our bakery. So the other thing I did while I was cleaning up the stuff in the yard here was move the rest of that flour over. So if you look at our production now, our wheat flour production is done. We have harvested all of that, and we only have 556 flour in the hopper, but we have come down here and we put 16,000. Oh, I'm getting off my line. Hold on. Make sure we get all this planted appropriately. We have 16,000 flour in there, and that's producing bread for us. We had 6 pallets of bread, which I will show you momentarily. We actually got loaded up, so here in this video we're also going to go sell that bread, or maybe we'll skip to tomorrow and then go sell that bread, because according to our bread pricing, which is up here, it's $28.94 and it's rising, and there's a little bit of a peak in April before it drops off heavily before the summer. And that should do it for this. I'm going to turn that off. I'm just going to check our map real quick and make sure we didn't miss anything. Nope, that's completely planted. And the other thing I was looking at is this field 15 that I've been wanting since episode 1 is planted with barley, is 98% yield bonus, and 100% fertilized. This would be an excellent field to buy and add to our collection. It's a little bit larger than our other 2 fields, but it's ready to go with the maximum fertilization and almost the maximum yield bonus. So it's got pretty much everything that we would want, and we would have this little pod of 14, 15, 16 on the map, which would be really nice. So we very well might take out a loan and buy that field at harvest time and just harvest all 3 of these. So I'd love to get your comments and feedback on that as well before we get there. But here's something I wanted to show you guys that I had no idea. So we bought this 4-meter seeder to go with our 4-meter cultivator. Let me lower this, and now we can literally detach the seeder. Nope, we can detach. Let's hold on, lower that. We're going to detach the seeder. Look, it is the same implement. I couldn't believe it. I went in to see how much repairs we needed on our 4-meter cultivator and discovered that we owned two, because look, I can take this implement, I can lower it to the ground, I can back it up, and I can attach that seeder to it. This is literally the same cultivator. This is the one we bought for like 60% off. This is the brand new one that hasn't been used. And if you go into our garage here and look at our power harrows, we literally own two. This one has 0.1 hours worked on it. This one has 39 hours. So this was the used one we bought. This was the brand new one. When we bought this seeder here, it came with this power harrow that we had already. Nope, excuse me, this one. This came with that power harrow already attached. And I didn't read it close enough. HR 4040 plus the Venta 4030. So we now have two of these power harrows. So I just wanted to show you guys that before I sold one of them. I don't know if I am going to sell one of them because this one is getting pretty beat up. And I don't want a new seeder with an old harrow, or an old seeder with a new harrow, or whatever that comes out to. So anyway, I just thought that was crazy. I'd never seen that before. But the nice thing about that is that allowed us to cultivate and seed in one going, which is how we got everything done before the sun went down here. So the other thing that we did in the episode, or between episodes, was I loaded up all of our eggs in here again. So we now have nearly 7,000 eggs in our trailer, but eggs are at the very lowest price right now, so we're not going to turn those in for a little bit. So let me go grab this other power harrow that we don't really need to, but I'm not sure that it's worth selling the one for the 20,000 unless we need to. This one's still in pretty good repair, but I don't know how many hours we can put on it before it stops working altogether. So, and I did end up picking up a weight on the front because with that seeder in that harrow, it was a little bit much for our 240 horsepower McCormick tractor to handle. So couple of little updates there. Wanted to get you caught up, but so we're going to park this thing back here, drop that cultivator off, turn off our lights and our engine, and now we're going to go take a look at the bread that I got loaded up because we want to go sell that at the supermarket, or we want to hold that overnight. But so I looked at all the bread that we had, and I got that loaded on our low loader with our second tractor here, and that's good to go. This is 6,000 liters of bread. Bread, did I already show you guys this? I apologize if I did. Yeah, bread has a little spike in April and then drops all the way down to August. So I think we're going to probably want to sell this in April, not today. And we have a need to fertilize this, so we'll do that at some point in time as well. But I think we can do that tomorrow. So I say, since it's 6 o'clock, let's go ahead and sleep until April and then go sell that bread. And then I'll let you guys see how that goes. So we're going to go ahead and sleep till, we don't have a lot of field work, so let's sleep till 9 in April, see how rainy it really is. And not rainy, which is amazing. Sometimes that weather forecast is just wrong. Oh, rain at 6 p.m. Alright, so we have another 2 pallets. Here we're down to 2,400 100 liters of sorghum, so we're going to want to refill that at some point in time. But let's start off by taking this to the supermarket. What is our price looking like today? Oh, look, there's one more pallet of bread. What is our bread price? Bread is $28.59, but falling. Alright, well, let's get this last pallet of bread on here, and then let's get this down to the supermarket before that price drops any farther. I don't actually really like these front loader arms on the Zetter. It's a little bit choppy in its gear shifting, and that makes it a little harder to control. It works in a pinch, so when I had the McCormick in the field planting, it worked to get the front loader put on here and get this loaded, but I much prefer to do it in the McCormick when I have to do it. So we're just going to set this on top like so. I'm going to unstrap that and restrap that and strap that right there. That'll stay on just fine. And I'm going to bring that, see, look at that kind of choppy shifting that we have. So that's okay, and I'm just going to drop this front loader right here for now. We'll put it away here in a minute. Nope, not the pallet forks. Drop the whole thing there. Let's just run down to the supermarket and get this sold. So other than fertilizing, we don't have a ton to do this month. We gotta fertilize, we gotta fill up the feeder for our chickens, but that is about it. We're not ready to mow again. There's nothing left for us to do on our barley field. Only one stage of fertilization on our oat field, and we should be good to go on that. And I am very tempted by maybe taking out a small loan to get this barley field here and just make sure we fill up our grain mill, because that is the name of the game for us. And then I really wish we had a grass field to mow, because we're going to mow our margins here, but that's not going to take May and June just to mow and bale. So we'll just have to see what we want to do in the interim while we're waiting for the next harvest. And also we'll check out the sales, because there's been some really interesting things in the sales lately that have had me pretty tempted. So if you're new to the series, I would highly recommend you go back and check out episode 1, where we decided which lot we were going to buy and got our first tractor and made some snap decisions about what the second field was going to be. And then in episode 2 was when we decided to throw caution to the wind and begin pursuing chickens. And that has kind of set our course a little bit. If you're not new to this series, thank you for sticking around. And let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular you'd love to see that I'm not doing in this series yet. I'd love your feedback and to kind of know what else I can do to make this better. And if there's any other challenges you'd like me to achieve other than the one goal I pretty much set for us so far, which was to make some cakes at our bakery, which means we're going to need cows for milk and butter, and we're going to need strawberries, so we're going to need to get a, look at that, 19,987 in bread. That is amazing. I was expecting about 14. So 19,000 in bread is definitely nothing to sneeze at, and that is our production chain fully up and operational. So that is great. Now all we need to do is sell some of these eggs, but one step at a time. So anyway, I'm excited to see what we're going to do next here, because now that we have this up and running, the next big thing for us is a third field, because the third field will allow us to really fill up that grain mill that flour mill with grain, and get our flour production continuing to run all year round rather than just 3 months of the year. So I think that's probably my next goal, and if field 14 is going to stay available, that'd be a great one for us to do. So, all right, I'm going to get to fertilizing that field before the rain comes, and I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. All right, welcome back. Just cleaning everything up on the farmyard, putting a lot of the tools and implements and tractors away, parking them up. And I realized that I forgot to hit record when I fertilized that field in front of us here. So field 15 has been fertilized. Let me show you here on the map. Oops. So we did run our fertilizer back and forth on top of field 15. It's in its first growth stage, so we didn't need to use we were able to use our tractor without changing out the wheels or the tires to narrow tires. Didn't damage the crop at all, so we are good to go on both of our two fields now. Everything is done for the oats in April, which is what we needed, because it is supposed to rain later, and this should get us through that. And there's a couple of things I wanted to do to just end up the episode, or round out the episode today, that are a little bit more maintenance oriented. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. So number one, our tractor is very, very dirty. So we're going to go ahead and get a power washer and get this here. And I was thinking, well, this actually might get in the way. Can we do it here? Oh, we can do it here. I wanted it in this little grass patch here if I could. That would be kind of out of the way, but close to the entrance here. That seems to be about as good as we're going to get. Let's drop that there. So what this does is it allows you to clean your tractor. As you can see, our tractor is very dirty, as is our mower here. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in here and pull this back out, even though I just parked it. But yeah, look at how dirty our McCormick tractor is, which makes sense. We've been working it pretty hard here on the farm, but we're going to go ahead and get this and give it a wash. I know our paint is wearing down too, but I think it was like $40,000 to repaint this tractor, and we're certainly not going to do that, when a quick power wash will help tremendously, just to keep it looking fresh. That is already a lot better. I don't know how long this hose is, if we can wash this washer without bringing it out. We will try to do that. I don't think we'll be able to get to that butterfly washer over there in the corner, as that is probably out of range. But anyway, I'd like to start keeping our implements a little bit cleaner. Oh hey, I think we can do it. So we're going to get this washed up too, just so that it doesn't look terrible and sitting in here in our nice clean garage. Alright, so we got those cleaned up. Alright, the second piece of cleanup here on the farm today. Oh, I shouldn't be driving over our crop, but we'll just take it real slow around our fertilizer trailer there. Is I downloaded a couple of mods and I wanted to try them out on the farm here. Number one, there is a little four-wheeler mod that I picked up that I thought might be kind of a fun way to tool around and check out a couple of different fields. As I said in the beginning of this episode, or earlier in this episode anyway, the logical next step for us is to get a third field, because we do need to step up our production in our mill and make more flour so that we can make bread year-round. And part of that is going to be finding the appropriate third field. So I'm going to go ahead and park this here. Well, that looks so much better cleaned off. Alright, so let us run over to the shop here. And we're going to, I believe it's under vehicles, cars. Yep, so there's the Gator and the Mahindra are both nice because they can haul things around. This one is 31 miles an hour. This one can get up to 60. But this one here can get up to 74 miles an hour, and it's only 13,000. So I thought this might be just fun, and we can regular tires is fine. Design. That's fine. Main color. And we have a lot of options here. I'll try the New Holland blue. And I'm guessing this design color is our shocks. I actually kind of like that blue and red, but let's see what it looks like if we made it yellow. Kind of like the New Holland. That does look a little bit better. Yeah, let's go ahead and buy that. So we change our main color to New Holland blue. It was $100. I like it. So we're going to go ahead and buy this just to give it a test. I thought this would be a fun little way. So look at how small that is compared to our giant New Holland header or our McCormick. Oh, and that looks pretty good with me driving on there too. So I wanted to kind of zip around and show you guys a couple of fields that I was looking at and see if any of them seem like a good deal to you guys for kind of where a third field would need to be. Obviously, the first one is the one we sort of talked about as I was doing a little bit of field work on our main field 15, that we could possibly get field 14, which is the one I wanted to buy originally, but number one, it had been plowed by the time I got there, and number two, it had field stones on it, which I hope it doesn't anymore. But this one right here is barley, is 98%, 100% fertilized. It is $304,000. Is that right? Yep, 304,000. But it is larger than both of our other two fields. So for 300,000, which of course we don't have right now, we could get this barley field. So that's option number one that I wanted to sort of talk about. And it seems like the logical option because it's right across from our other two fields. So we would have sort of this chunk on the map, which tends to make sense to me. But the other option I wanted to talk about was I do want to make cake in our bakery. We bought the bakery to get the most out of it. We might as well be producing the most valuable thing that we can, which would be to make cakes. And this is the bakery here. So let's just take a look at this real quick in the production menu. I guess we didn't have to drive over here for this, but we were driving this way anyway. So in our bakery, we're already making bread. That's great. But for cake, we can make 5 cakes for 2 flours, 2 sugars, 2 milks, 2 eggs, 2 butters, and 2 strawberries. Well, we're already making the flour and the eggs, so we've got a third of the supplies that we need. Milk and butter comes from cows, and we do have what we need to make silage, and that is why we held back the first pallet of straw bales we got off of our original harvest of field 16. So we could put a cow pen in at some point in time just to get milk and butter. We'd have to also get a dairy, so that's kind of a down the road plan. Strawberries are pretty easy. We just have to put it in a greenhouse and fill it with water, and we can start making strawberries. So that I'm not too worried about either, but that's going to definitely be an investment for us. The other one that I don't know how to get easily is to get sugar. And I think we can do sugar cane or sugar beets and then process those in a sugar mill to get that sugar. Well, just so happens that while I was finishing the field work, doing the field work today on field 15, our neighbor down here in field 17 happened to plant sugar beets. So here is a full field planted of sugar beets, and again 100% fertilized, 88% yield bonus. The only downside is there's weeds, but they're small, so we could literally buy this field, have sugar beets ready to go, and this field has this big grass area at the top of it, which would be nice for putting in a sugar mill, for example. So let's just take a look at this on the map real quick. So if we were to buy field 17, it doesn't contain all of this grass that comes up here, but it does cut off kind of between the tree lines where it gets narrower here, but that's still all this area, which we're standing on now. We're standing right there. It's pretty flat, as you can see. This would be a pretty good place to put a sugar mill down. And I don't like harvesting sugar beets, but sorry, there's a harvester for sale, but it's way too big for us. I don't like putting, where is the construction menu? Sorry, can't talk and scroll at the same time. Nope. Construction. I don't like harvesting sugar beets, but we did buy field 17 in the beginning to get our first harvest off of it, of that wheat, and then we sold it back. We could buy it back again, which kind of makes sense. We've never owned field 14, but if we owned 15, 16, 17, that would give us this big flat area to get, let's see, a factory. Nope, not generators. What am I doing? All right. Sugar mill. So it takes sugar beets, sugar cane, and cut sugar something to make sugar cubes or packs of sugar for 80,000. So we could literally put this giant sugar mill right down here on this big grassy area, probably as far back in the corner as we could get it. Something like here. Obviously, excuse me, it says we don't own this land, so we can't do it right now, but this would be a way to get those sugar beets off of here, buy a field that we already bought earlier in the series, and start producing sugar. That would get us much closer to making those cakes out of our bakery. We don't really want a sugar mill long term, but it would get us closer to organically making the sugar so we make the cakes so that bakery can be up and running, and it kind of keeps all our fields in a row, which I do like. And that would leave probably enough room over here to put that cow pasture or the dairy if we wanted to start working ourselves towards milk and butter, or excuse me, butter and the other ingredient I said a couple minutes ago. So that is an option that I just realized might be something we'd want to do. So let's just take a look at this grass field real quick. It goes back to about here, I think, give or take, and then cut straight across. So that's quite a bit of grass area over here that would help to, you know, get that production up off the ground. So that's option number 2, is start working on sugar beets and kind of go from there. So, but obviously we can't afford either option 1 or option 2 that I just told you about with the $86,000 that we have right now. So that means we're going to either have to take out a loan or pretty much take out a loan. We could just grind it out with our 2 other fields and do like 2 more years of just making 2 fields of materials on there, but I think that might make for a boring series, and honestly I just want to expand a little bit to try to get the most out of our equipment. So that being said, we could do a loan for those 2. I also noticed that this field 10 here is also barley, also 100% fertilized and 90% yield bonus. So this one is a little bit smaller than field 14, which is huge. So currently we own these 2. So option number 2 would be buying this one for $249,000. Still pretty expensive, but it gives us a spot for production up here in this field. So that's one way our farm could look. Option number 1 would be buying this, which logically makes sense because it kind of puts the 3 fields together. Option number 3 would be going for something like this, which is only $200,000. So it's a smaller loan, but it still gives us a 3rd field of production that's still sort of connected to everything. So that's another option if you guys want to be conservative and frugal. We could do field number 10 down here, get everything that we want off this for the barley. So that's kind of option number 1, 2, and 3. I do want a 3rd field. It also helps us when we're renting the harvester to get more fields harvested out of it, which just makes it a better use of our money. So there it is, option 1, 2, and 3 for what field we want to buy. I thought I'd not make any rash decisions today, but go ahead and put that out there in the video, let you guys answer, see what you want to do, and then we'll make that decision in episode 11 or 12. Honestly, we could buy either of those barley fields in July when we're ready to harvest them, or June. I think it's June. So that is an option for us either way. So I guess we don't have to jump into either of those immediately, but option 1, 2, and 3, just wanted to kind of discuss those with you guys, see what you thought, and leave me a comment and let me know. All right, and then lastly, it was a cold winter sleeping in this tent. And can you guys hear these chickens? Sleeping this close to the chickens is driving me nuts. So I think it's time to get rid of this tent and to upgrade ourselves to a proper living space. So we're going to go into construction, select this, and sell that tent for $24. It did good for us for 8 months, but it's time to actually stay indoors. And there we go. So that is sold. Let me actually hop back on here and show you what I'm thinking. I found another mod when I was looking for this little 4-wheeler, and I think we're going to put up a little log cabin. it's a cheap housing. We're not ready to put up a farmhouse, and honestly, we can't afford it anyway. And I need to stay back a little bit so that I can place this. But under construction, under farmhouses, I never wanted to put this tiny house in because it's only $1,000. I actually do really like it, but $1,000 is not really realistic for the cost for housing. $50 for a tent makes sense to me. But here is this little farmhouse cabin for $18,000. We can afford $18,000, and it looks pretty good. So I thought we could either put it here, so it's kind of at the corner of our road where we turn into the bakery, but that might make that corner a little tight, and this is where we park our things. Or I thought we could actually just put it down here a little bit, and it's just a little bit quieter over here. You don't hear those chickens. So I think we're going to do this. I want to get it close to the appropriate angle for our field here. Just back it up. That looks to be about right. And then I want to put it not quite into the hill, but something like that. I thought we'd just put it right up next to the pad so we can park next to it here. So something like this. How much cheaper does it get up here? Yeah, so it's really flat up here, and it gets to be a little less flat back there. I guess we don't want to go into that hill too terribly much, and this would allow us to drive around and drop that stuff back there. So let's go with something about here. So this is our new... Oh, did this not have a sleep trigger? Or is it inside? Well, it's cool that you can open it up. Look, we can come inside. We can see our field. Open wardrobe. Oh, so we can come in here and change. And then just being inside lets us sleep. So if we just come in here, that's how you sleep. Okay, so here we have our nice little log cabin. We can finally get some chicken noise-free rest. So anyway, let me know what you would think about the options, which field we should get. I'm happy with this little four-wheeler. I'm also happy with this new farmhouse, and I like that we have a little bit of ways to drive around to get to that concrete pad behind it. And in episode 11, we will take a look. Let's go ahead and just sleep till May and see what we see, and then we'll go from there. 8 o'clock. It's getting to be summer. There might be a lot of work for us to do. It sounds like rain overnight. So I just wanted to make sure this worked on the video, so there we go. So our barley is now at the second growth stage. You can see it's taller now. If we drive on it, we will damage the crop. Our oats, 96% and 100% fertilized, are growing real nice. Looks like the grass could use a cut, and the margins, that might be the first thing that we do today. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the episode up here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Give it a like if you liked it. Give a subscription if you want to see more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day.